the very bottom of Zayin and Aleph, we just finished bringing down 4 different ways of explaining the difference between Shmini Atzeres and Shvi Shel Pesach, in the fact that Shmini Atzeres is a Yom Tov unto itself, and Shvi Shel Pesach is not. That's where we just finished off, and we had 4 different ways of explaining the Brisa as to why Shvi Shel Pesach is not the same as Shmini Atzeres. Most notably, that we have to know, we need pencils, yeah? I need to send myself a reminder right now. I have it home.
Or we need something.
I have 100 boxes of lead for this one. I didn't buy one box. I bought a case, and the case has been sitting on my for 6 months ago. I bought it.
We're covered.
No, we're not, because it's been sitting on my shelf for 6 months. It's not helping us.
It's fine.
No, I'm going to set a reminder right now for a half hour from now.
It's all good.
Yeah. Okay, let's get going. So we're in the middle of discussing. What time is it? 9:08. 9:40 p.m. Okay, pencil it. Okay, so says the Gemara, Lema Misayele. Let's bring your raya. We're 8 lines from the bottom. The first one line is Lema. Nothing?
No.
We have something?
Yeah.
There's something to write with tonight. Okay. Lema Misayele. Haparim. Ha'ilim. Vakvasim. These are all the different animals that are brought as karbanos. Says the Brisa, Ma'akvin. But by the way, Nasi gave notice he wasn't going to be here tonight. Don't think. Yaki doesn't miss without. Yeah. What?
I already sent them a.
He said he was away.
Rob mentioned he gave notice. I'm like, what?
No. Ha'ilim.
He gave notice that he's leaving.
Haparim, ha'ilim, akpasim, ma'akvin, zeh. They are ma'akiv one another. Which means if you're missing one of these karbanos, you cannot bring any of the karbanos, says the Tanakama. V'Rev Yehuda Omer, parim ein ma'akvin zeh. Parim are not ma'akiv. Why are parim on Sukkot not ma'akiv? Shaharei, behold, misma'atin v'holchim. They decrease and they go. We know that on Sukkot, what goes on is every day is less and less and less karbanis. I think it starts with 13, if I remember correctly, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. So says the Gemara, so therefore what? Who cares that it decreases? Look at Rashi. Rashi, about 3 lines from the wide lines, Rashi says, Sharim misma'atin. Miyoim el yoim, day to day, it decreases. Alma. So what does this show us? Loi kapid alayu. It shows us we're not makbid. Lo kapid alayu rachmana. The Torah is not. No. The number of parim that you bring every day decreases.
That's Shmini Atzeres is only one.
Good. So we're going to get to that point. It's exactly what we're driving to. But first, we're starting and we're saying it's a machlekes in this brisa whether one carbon holds back a different carbon. And says Rav Yehuda, the parim certainly can't hold anything else back. Why not? Because they're not integral. How do I know they're not integral? From the fact that every day they get less, must be that they're not so, the Torah is not so makbin on them. And therefore, whether they're brought or not, you bring the other karbanis. Now, I just want to parenthetically point out, what's the raya? Because they get less every day, the Torah is not makiv? I don't know. The Torah says 13 this day, 12 this day.
It tells you to do.
Torah still tells you to do it. This really bothers me. And okay, I mean, I didn't spend more. Yeah, no, okay, yeah. It's in a similar concept. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm asking. It's exactly the point I'm asking. Is that no? So that would be nice. You bring a different part. That's how Rashi says. I like what you're saying. Matt is suggesting a nice job, but Rashi doesn't say it. Matt's suggesting maybe the fact that it goes down. Usually we always go up in Yiddishkeit. Maybe the fact that it goes down shows us it must be so not so important. But again, it just bothers me.
In the days of Yom Tov are less important as the days go down.
I don't know. It is a little bit schwer. I just wanted to point it out. Let's go on weiter. Says the Gemara Amru Loi They said to him again.
Plus, there's you have a reason, right? It specifies a lot of things. Only the first day, the first day.
Yeah, it's true. Again, all the calls in Nichla. All this is part of my confusion. But says the Gemara, Amrullah, they responded to Rabbi Yehuda. What are you telling me? That parim, the par, are not ma'akiv, b'halukula misma'atim b'holchin, bishmini, as Menachem you pointed out. On day 8, they all go less. So doesn't that show us that nothing should be integral? Amr lehem. So how does Rabbi Yehuda respond? Don't ask from Shmini Atzeres. Why not? Shmini regel bifnei atzmai hu. Shmini is its own yontif. No. Oh, no. But this is the raya, says the Gemara. That's why it's a lema misayele, or bring a raya that Shmini Atzeres is its own yontif. 3 lines to the bottom, and now the Bryce ends off. Shekishim. That just like Sheshivas Yemei Achag, the 7 days of Yontif, Tu'unin require carbonis, Vishir, and songs, Ubracha, and Bracha. What does it mean, Bracha? Hold your horses, we'll know in a moment.
That's a bracha.
Yeah, so
There you go, we timed that well.
Nice.
Velina, and staying overnight. Now, Lina, Stam is a fascinating concept that there was a halacha that when you brought the carbon Pesach and other carbonis as we're about to see, you don't just bring your carbon and you go home. You stay overnight. It's a chashva matziv. It's not like, drop off. It's not, Amazon return, drop it and run. You bring a carbon to Beis HaMikdash. You stay in Yerushalayim overnight. Velina. In Yerushalayim, not in the Beis HaMikdash. You can't sleep in the Beis HaMikdash, but in Yerushalayim itself.
Well,
There's no rooms on it.
Oh, Kohanim. Very good. The whole shayla why they're allowed to sleep there. Although Noach is lobbying for Tamar Chazar in the 8 days of Hanukkah. You're lobbying for it, right?
I did say that.
You did mention that lobby.
Days of
You did mention that lobby. It did not go unnoticed. Av Shemini, so to day 8, Ta'un Carbon, Vishir, Ubracha, Ulinu. So to day 8. So says the Gemara as we turn over, what did it mean, bracha? My love, does it not mean zman? That which Rabbi Yehuda said that it has a bracha. And that which Shmini Atzeres also has a bracha on its own is what? Zman, which is Shechiyanu, thank you. Says the Gemara, no raya. You know what it means, bracha? Birchas hamazoin utfila. What does that mean? Says Rashi on the second line. Da'ad hashta until day 8. Amrin on es yoim chag asukoi sazeh. V'kane now es yoim shmini chag atzeres azeh. Beautiful. Says the Gemara. Hachinam mistavra. And it's mistaver. It's logical that when it says bracha, it's referring to Shechianu. Why is it logical? Because if you're going to tell me that what did it mean? Zman, Shechianu. But what was the contrast? Don't forget, look at the bottom of the Amid. What was the contrast? The contrast was Shekishim Sheshivas Yemei Achag. 7 days have a bracha, so too day 8 has a bracha. So if it means Shechianu, what does that mean? That's 7 days. Oh, that's 7 days as Shechianu. Because if you think Zman, then it means Shechianu. Zman kol shiva mi'ika. Is there such a concept of Shechianu for all 7 days? So it must mean benching in tefillah that we say Shmini Atzeres Achagas. Retorts the Gemara, no. Haloi kasha. That's not a kasha, or more precisely, that's not a raya. Why not? Because what does it mean all 7 days have Shechianu? De'i loi barecha inna. If you didn't to say the bracha today, mevarich lemachar, you would make the bracha the next day. Oy liyoma achrina, or the day after that. Period. Which means, similar.
Can you say it every day?
You can say it every day. Ability, which you're all bothered, like, come on, get real. It said Shivas Yemei Achag has bracha, doesn't that mean? But this is a classical Gemara. We always know is that if there's a way to shtup up shot, it means it's not a raya.
There's no tashlumin for karbanis. Let's say you, for whatever reason, they weren't able to bring the karbanis of day one.
It certainly is, but it's beged tashlumin. Therefore, it's not the same thing. Here, the Shechiyanu.
It's
You asked a good question. You asked a good question.
forget the tashlumin.
I don't know. That's a very good question.
We're saying Shechiyanu. We've been doing it for 3 days already.
Yes. Oh, no. Oh, so one second.
It's obviously must be it's on bracha that you're doing on day 3 is a begether tashlumin.
So the question is, I want to ask you a fundamental question. It says Eloi Baruch Einav Baruch Lamacher. That just means you forgot. Or maybe it means, like we saw in Amin Aleph, remember what happened to the Gdeli Hadar? They were hanging out with the cattle, and they didn't show up to the sukkah until day number 7. Anyone? No one has any clue what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah.
I'm getting a lot of blank faces. Okay, we got one.
The whole Yom Tov, they weren't in the sukkah.
So we saw over there, what do we see? We saw the reason they made a bracha was because they weren't in the sukkah b'chlal. So I'm not sure.
They didn't make it.
But
We
we,
didn't say they did not make it.
but what was
Because
the
it was too late.
but what was the conversation?
To think that maybe it was.
Good. So I'm just bringing you a raya that maybe when the Gemara here says that if they don't make the bracha today, they can make it tomorrow. Maybe the Gemara means they weren't able to make it, not just they forgot. You're learning is that they forgot, but they were in the sukkah. They were doing the whole spiel. Yeah. But I definitely hear what you're saying.
Definitely more.
But now there's another kasha. How do you make the shachiyanu? When do we make shachiyanu? No.
First time.
When? When do we do it?
Kiddush.
Kiddush. Frakti Gemara.
Or by lighting candle.
Mikol makoim kais be'inan. So you definitely need a kais, says the Gemara.
What are you talking about leishi? That makes it all sense to make.
So that's a good question. You want to know why we didn't suggest that? It's a very good question. So,
Are we supposed to be washing every single day? Yeah.
Depends if they say it's the other, you should watch.
that's a very good question. Why?
Wait,
No. So you know what I think the
it's
answer
just
is.
it's man. You can release man for all 7 days.
I think the answer to your question is I think that's included in the Gemara's teretz of Berachas Hamazon and Tefillah. What do the Gemara mean Berachas Hamazon and Tefillah? It meant that you say Chag HaSukkos versus saying Shmini Atzeres is there. So you're saying why doesn't it say Leishev versus no Leishev? Yeah, I think that would be included.
Bracha
Is the Leishev? It could be. The point is that it's just not Shechiyanu. Now we're trying to prove that it might be a Shechiyanu.
No, but the Gemara just as it is. It doesn't make sense. That you make a shachenu each and every day.
No, the Gemara's that's not the Gemara's kasha. The Gemara's kasha is if you didn't say it today, right? So the Gemara is saying that can't be. So what must it be? It must be if you didn't say it today, you could say it tomorrow. But now the Gemara is a problem. So we're suggesting, let's say day 4 comes, you're making shechanu. How do you make shechanu on day 4? On a kais. Mikol makayim kais be'inan. Look at Rashi. Look how Rashi explains what's going on here in the Gemara. 3 lines into the Amud. Mikol makayim. Heichi mishkachas lo zman b'choylei shamayid. Asks the Gemara, how is it shaykh to say shechiyanu chol hamayid? What's the problem? Va'afilu loy baruch yom hakama. Even if you didn't say the bracha on day 1, so what's wrong? So make a shechiyanu today. 6 flags. Make a shechiyanu. Habeina koishel yayin. And what's the problem? Ve'ein yayin matzoi l'chol adam mechalei shamayit, says the Gemara. So you're bothered. Maybe you had wine. The Gemara is saying it would be shever for a brisa to suggest you could say shechar all 7 days because no one in the world has wine on Chol Hamoed. It definitely is. It definitely is.
You wash.
You're definitely right. But the Gemara's kasha is almost like bewildered. The Gemara is bewildered. Where do you know that from? But look weiter, and the Gemara says the Gemara. You know what maybe it means? Lema misayeh alei. Let's bring a raya. A raya to what? Rav Nachman. To Omar Rav Nachman says Rav Nachman a chiddush. Zman oimru afilu b'shok. Says Rav Nachman. Guess what? You don't have wine on Chol Hamoed? No big deal. Say the zman wherever you are. Why? Di amrit binan kais. Says Rav Nachman. Tell me you need a kais. Kais kol yoma mi'ika. Is it possible you have a kais every day? So says Rav Nachman, you know what it must be? You say shechan wherever you are. Responds the Gemara, Menachem, what you just said, it's not a rayo. Maybe we're talking about a case that he happened to have a kais. And again, this is a classical Gemara that the Gemara is going back and forth. And the point is, it's not absolute either way, because if it could mean this, it could mean, oh, we had a kais. That's the way to understand. John.
Like, oh, that's why we don't do it.
Correct. No, it just means, again, we're just trying to figure out how do you learn a brisa. And once I can give you another way, that's what Nachman held. That's what Nachman held. Gemara said, but it's not a raya because maybe you just have the
Rav
case.
Nachman, why would there be ever, if you don't need a kais and you could do whatever you want, why would there ever be a scenario where he wouldn't just do it on the first day? It's not like, oh, he didn't make it to the Suda or he didn't have wine.
That's a very good question.
I don't need anything.
That's a very good question. That's a
Even
very
if
good
I-
question.
even
That's a very
with the
good
camel.
question.
Why can't it be like the case we discussed when people were in the
All I need to
He
do
could
is
say
take
it in
a
the field.
I don't
You don't
need
need anything.
anything.
In the fields, he didn't have to live in Essex. But here, according to Rav Nachman, you just say wherever you are.
saying, then why wouldn't you do it?
Why wouldn't you say it? I hear. Very. Yeah, I don't know. Very, very valid point. Very valid point.
If the Gemara, if you didn't have a right,
Ventilator.
I understand it's possible, but we're
No.
This is-
Maybe he'll do day one, but day one, you're not gonna have to be.
You did?
Can't say it.
What?
He says go.
Oh,
I'll say
Okay, let's go one more step weiter. Frag to Gemara. 1 second. V'savar Rav Yehuda. Shmini ta'in lina. Says the Gemara. Let's go back fundamental. What did the Brisa say? The Brisa contrasted the first 7 days with the 8th day. And what did the Gemara say? That on the 8th day, you need carbon shear, bracha, and lina. What's lina? Lina is staying overnight. Says the Gemara. Really? Is that true? V'savar Rav Yehuda Shmini ta'in lina? Does Rav Yehuda actually hold on Shmini Atzeres is a din of lina? Again, what's the din of lina? Lina literally means overnight. What it means is that when you bring a carbon, you have to stay overnight. Says the Gemara, does Rav Yehuda really subscribe to that? V'hatanya, but we learned in a brayso. Rav Yehuda Imer says Rav Yehuda minayin lePesach Sheni. How do we know Pesach Sheni she'enoi ta'in lina? Now don't get confused. We have not been talking about Pesach Sheni till now. Don't be like, wait, Pesach Sheni, I thought we were talking about Shmini Atzeres. We have been. We're bringing a raya from something Rav Yehuda said by Pesach Sheni, okay? V'atani Rav Yehuda Omer, minayin lePesach Sheni she'enoi ta'in lina. Where do we know that Pesach Sheni does not require lina? Shenamar, ufanisa ba'boiker, you turn in the morning, v'halachta, and you go le'oyalecha, to your tent. Uksiv, that's one pasuk. And then the next pasuk says, Sheishes yamim teichal matzos. For 6 days you eat matzah. So the Gemara says, we have 2 pasukim back to back. The first pasuk says what? Get up in the morning and go home. The next pasuk says, for 6 days, what do? You eat matzos. Gemara says, Gavaldik, put the 2 pasukim together. Es shetoun shisha, that which requires matzah for 6 days. What's that? Pesach. In exclusion of Pesach Sheni. Pesach Sheni does not require for 6 days. Says the Gemara, Eshetoin Shisha, that which requires for 6 days, To'un Lina, requires to stay overnight. Eshe Einoi To'un Shisha, Einoi To'un Lina. Period. So says the Gemara, what is this coming to teach us? I think we should stop because I feel like we're derailing. No, is that with me? Should we go drop weiter? Or should we stop? Let's finish. Let's go a little bit weiter. Okay. Again, so we're middle of a kasha. We want to know how could Rabbi Yehuda say that you need to lean on day 8? We quoted a brisa. The brisa says, Rabbi Yehuda says, how do we know Pesach Sheni does not have lina? Why does Pesach Sheni not have lina? Because the only time you have a din of lina to stay overnight is what? If it's a real din of Pesach. If it's not a real din of Pesach, you don't have to stay overnight. Says the Gemara, Lemu'ute mai. What is this coming to teach us? Lemute, I think there's a word missing over here. Yeah, actually, there's 2 lemutes. Says the Gemara, Lemute mai, or my lav lemute, nami, you know what it's coming to exclude? Shmini shel chag. That day 8 of Sukkot is similar to what? Pesach Sheni. In the fact that just like Pesach Sheni is floating on an island and it's not connected to 6 days beforehand, and therefore there's no din of lino, says the Gemara, L'chayra Shmini Atzeres should be the same thing. So what's the kasha? And this is where the question mark goes after the last 8 lines. So what do we see? We said in the bottom of the Amid that there's a din of lino by Shmini Atzeres. Ask the Gemara, we see there's no din of lino by Shmini Atzeres. Responds the Gemara, and with this we finish. Lohi lemute Pesach Sheni. So you're all wondering what was the Havamina Kutkasha. Meaning, what did the Brisa say? We have 2 psukim. One pasuk says you stay overnight. The next pasuk says you have 6 days of Pesach. Says the Gemara, whenever you have 6 days is when you stay overnight. If you don't have 6 days, you don't stay overnight. So you know that comes to teach me Shemini Atzeres, you don't stay overnight. Says Gemara Chacham. No, it comes to teach me that Pesach Sheni, you don't stay overnight. As we thought in the beginning, we'll stop over here, right? Bo for Hachi Nami Mistaver. This was a lot.